You know, I was standing in the grocery store aisle the other day, just staring at a carton of natural coconut water. And I had this moment of, almost paralysis.
Paralysis? That's dramatic.
It was, because I looked at the back, and the ingredient list was longer than a receipt. It said natural, but I couldn't pronounce half the things in there. It feels like we're in this era where eating clean has actually become incredibly messy. We want organic, we want pure, but finding it is like a treasure hunt where the map is constantly changing.
That is the modern consumer paradox, isn't it? We have more access to food than ever before in human history, yet we have never been more disconnected from where it actually comes from. We are craving simplicity, but the supply chain is anything but simple.
Exactly. And that's why I wanted to dive into today's topic. We're looking at a company called Ceylon Plant Food, based out of Sri Lanka. On the surface, they are a supplier of coconut products and dried fruits. But when you peel back the layers, I think they represent a shift in how we need to think about sourcing. It's this idea of a one-stop shop, but not in the Walmart sense, in the purity sense.
Right. And to understand Ceylon, you first have to understand the geography. They operate out of Sri Lanka, historically known as Ceylon. This isn't just a branding gimmick, it's an agricultural gold mine. Sri Lanka is a tropical island with a unique microclimate that produces some of the most nutrient-dense vegetation on Earth. So when Ceylon says they are bringing the best of nature, they aren't starting from a factory. They are starting from a very specific, privileged soil.
Let's talk about the products, because I think that's where the rubber meets the road, or I guess, where the coconut hits the machete. They lead with King coconut water. Now, is there actually a difference between King coconut and the green ones we usually see on vacation?
Oh, massive difference. This is where the connoisseurs perk up. The King coconut, or Thambili as it's known locally, is native to Sri Lanka. It's that bright orange nut. Unlike the green coconut, which is primarily grown for the meat, the King coconut is grown specifically for drinking. It's naturally sweeter, it has a better electrolyte balance, and it doesn't have that slightly savory, oily aftertaste you sometimes get with generic green coconuts.
So it's the champagne of coconut water.
That is a perfect analogy, and Ceylon's approach is to capture that hydration without messing it up. No artificial additives, just the water. It's about preserving that tropical hydration profile. But what's interesting about their catalog is that they don't stop at the water. They've built an ecosystem around the entire plant.
Which leads us to the milk. I feel like coconut milk has exploded recently. It's in coffee, it's in soups, it's the darling of the plant-based movement.
It is, but quality varies wildly. You've probably bought a can of coconut milk that was watery or separated into a weird, gritty paste.
Absolutely. Ruined a curry that way once.
That's usually a processing failure. Ceylon produces premium coconut milk that focuses on texture and fat content stability. Whether you are a chef making a high-end curry or just someone putting a splash in your morning smoothie, that consistency matters. It's rich, creamy, and authentic. They are taking the plant-based lifestyle serious by ensuring the product actually tastes good enough to replace dairy.
And they do the dry stuff too, right? Desiccated coconut?
Yes. And while that sounds unsexy, in the baking and confectionery world, high-quality desiccated coconut is like gold dust. If it's too dry, it's like sawdust. If it's too moist, it molds. CEYPLA has this fine-tuned processing to keep it aromatic and fresh. But honestly, I'm more interested in their snacks.
The coconut smiles?
The smiles.
I love that name. It sounds like something a toddler would invent, but it's actually a specific cut, isn't it?
It is. It's a specific slice of the coconut meat, usually toasted or dehydrated to get that crunch. Ceylon produces these coconut chips and smiles as a healthy snacking alternative. And think about the market trends right now. People are terrified of potato chips. They are bored of almonds. A coconut chip that is naturally sweet, crunchy, and high in fiber? That hits the sweet spot, pun intended.
It's the guilt-free crunch. That's the holy grail of snacking. But I want to pivot to something a bit more serious. We mentioned earlier that the supply chain is messy. Ceylon lists dried lime and premium nuts and dehydrated fruits in their portfolio. But they emphasize something that really caught my eye: an agreed food safety license.
This is critical. In the global food trade, organic and natural are marketing terms, but food safety license is a legal and operational reality.
Why is that specific "agreed" so important? Is it just paperwork?
No, it's a mindset. Achieving an A-grade food safety license means their processing facilities meet the highest international standards for hygiene, quality control, and handling. We are talking about strict protocols from the moment the fruit is picked to the moment it's sealed in the package. In developing regions, maintaining that level of sterility and process control is expensive and difficult.
So, when they display that license, they are basically signaling to international buyers, manufacturers, distributors, retailers that we aren't a risky bet.
Precisely. It's about traceability and trust. If you are a food manufacturer in Europe or the US and you are sourcing dried lime or coconut flour, you need to know that the product is free from contaminants. Ceylon understands that today's consumer demands transparency. They aren't just selling a commodity, they are selling peace of mind.
That's a powerful distinction. It moves them from being a farmer to being a partner.
And that's the one-stop shop logic. If I'm a distributor, I don't want to buy my water from one guy, my milk from another, and my dried fruit from a third. The logistics are a nightmare. Ceylon aggregates all these natural, organic products processed with precision under one roof. It streamlines the entire supply chain.
It's interesting you mentioned the dried fruits and nuts again. It seems like they're trying to capture the full spectrum of the pantry.
They are. Dehydrated fruit, like their dried lime, is becoming huge in the beverage industry. Cocktails, teas, infusions. By controlling the processing, they preserve the essential oils and flavors that usually get lost in mass production. It's that dedication to preserving natural goodness that they talk about.
It sounds like they are trying to bridge the gap between traditional agriculture and modern industrial demands.
That's the best way to put it. They are leveraging Sri Lanka's agricultural heritage, which has been organic by default for centuries, and applying modern, hygienic processing to it. It's the best of both worlds.
Let's zoom out a bit. We're talking about coconut water and dried lime, but what does this represent for the future of food? When we see companies like Ceylon rising up, what does that tell us about where the market is going?
I think it tells us that the era of anonymous food is ending. Consumers want origin stories. They want to know that their coconut water came from a specific island, processed by a specific company that cares about safety. Ceylon is positioning itself as the answer to that craving for authenticity.
It's almost philosophical. We used to just want food. Now we want values.
We want connection. When you drink that king coconut water, you want to feel a connection to the tropics, to purity. You want to know that no artificial additives were pumped into it. Ceylon is essentially selling a direct line to nature, but one that is safe enough to put on a supermarket shelf.
And accessible enough for businesses to rely on. Whether you are a retailer looking for a private label partner or a manufacturer needing ingredients.
Exactly. Organic, natural, safe, premium. Those four words are the pillars of their brand. And honestly, in today's market, if you are missing even one of those, you fail. Ceylon seems to have secured all four.
It's impressive. It makes me want to go check my pantry and see how much of it actually meets those standards.
You might be disappointed with what you find in there right now.
Probably. But that's why companies like this matter. They raise the bar. So, for our listeners who are either in the industry, distributors, manufacturers, or just people who really care about what they put in their bodies, Ceylon seems to be a name to watch.
Absolutely. Excellence begins at the source. If you get the source right, everything else falls into place.
Well said. We've gone from the grocery aisle paralysis to finding a solution in Sri Lanka. It's been a fascinating trip.
Always a pleasure to explore the roots of what we eat.
For everyone listening, next time you crack open a coconut or grab a bag of dried fruit, take a second to think about where it came from. And if you're looking for purity, maybe look towards Ceylon. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Stay healthy, everyone. More information will come via our podcast. If you need more, please forward contact info at cplock.com.